woke up at dawn with the pelicans in flight. Coffee brewing strong by dawn's early light. Waves whisper secrets to my open heart. The life around this water gets me off to a great start. Parrots wild, squawking loud in the old palm tree. Dolphin smiles, brighter than the Texas sun on me. We chase simple dreams, nothing fancy or grand, just honest days in this promised land. God gives rainbow horizons to those in this happy lane. Diamonds dancing on the waves, back sparkling again. Honest living, a pursuit of peace, family ties and the happiness we seek. Love, forgotten country running deep in our veins. Through the storms and the trials we break those chains. Good living brings the blessings we see. Rainbow horizons calling to me. Living each moment, giving truth from the heart. No deceptions woven, no false starts. Goes like a front porch swaying in the ocean breeze. Watching the sunset fade away with pink and bluey. Teach the young ones right from wrong with care. Hold them close when the world's unfair. In this Gulf Coast life we find our way, building memories that never stray. Oh, rainbow horizons after the rain. Diamonds dancing on the waves back again. Honest living in pursuit of peace. Family ties and the happiness we see. Love, forgotten country running deep in our veins. Through the storms and the trials we break those chains. Good living brings the blessings we see. Rainbow horizons calling to me. When the night falls quiet and stars shine bright, I thank the Lord for this humble light, for the flag that waves and the grace from above, filling our hearts with endless love. No riches compared to the peace we found in the tides we ride and the love all around. No rainbow horizons after the rain. Diamonds dancing on the waves back again. Honest living in pursuit of peace. Family ties and the happiness we seek. Love, forgotten country running deep in our veins. Through the storms and the trials we break those chains. Good living brings the blessings we see. Rainbow horizons forever free. Yeah. Your rainbow horizons calling to me.
Good morning, everybody. It's almost noon where I'm at, but not quite. I hope you guys are doing very well. I am doing well, except I'm irritated. And the thing of which I'm irritated is that I was supposed to work this morning and I got a no-show. So I'm all dressed up, got nowhere to go. All right. So I said, I know what I'll do. I'll make my video. So you don't get to see me sitting in my hookah bed. And you also don't get to see me or not see me like scratching my hair and yawning behind, a pretty front screen. I'm here because I'm ready. So let's do this. Okay. All right. Look, we are in a race to the bottom as far as I can see it. And what I mean by a race to the bottom is this. YouTube made the decision to pay for content. They're paying for engagement. They do not care of the quality of the engagement, correct? You can, if you put up a panel and you bring 5-10 people on your panel, and that panel screams and yells at one another for 5 hours, that channel owner is going to get, they're going to make money for 5 hours for screaming and cussing and nothing, right? Just, it's like the reality TV shows, right? You have a choice to go and watch something like Pirates of the Caribbean, correct? Or Heath Ledger, any number of his amazing movies. You pay money, you go in and watch, or you put it on your television, pay for service, and you watch this amazing work of art that hopefully in some way affects you, to inspires you to do better or to see the world in a different way. Or you can just go to YouTube where people are constructing narratives. And what do we know? We know beyond a shadow of a doubt, drama sells. And drama generally means hurting someone. The other part of this idea that drama sells and that you can now make money, you can make money being a liar. You can make a lot of money being a grifter. No talent involved except perhaps a raging personality disorder, correct? So we're at a crossroads, I think, in our adaptation to technology and what technology lays before us. I do not endorse the idea that we need handlers. I do not endorse the idea that we need people making decisions for what we should watch and what we should not watch. I don't think we need that by a long shot. I personally believe that YouTube, this foundation of social media, I think it's really done a lot of really positive and healthy, great things. And I think it's done a lot of bad. Like I said, we're in a race to the bottom to see who can be the most horrible, who can say the worst, right? That's where we're at. And you may sit and say, wait a minute, you have been doing drama. Well, I hate to, I really don't want to say that I have, but sure, I'm going to, I'll own it. However, I was touched, like my principles, right? I was outraged at the worst for me, for my own morality and ethics. The worst that one can do is harm a child. That's, to me, there is nothing worse. So when you find out that someone that you chose to trust and believe in, when you find out you made a bad choice to trust and believe in them, when you find out that they actually have absolutely engaged in the worst and make no attempt at all to walk it back and just say, I was caught up in the moment. I said horrible things. I did horrible things. I owe tremendous apologies. If you get that, then you can say, look, everyone's human. And, I sure do hate that you were involved in that. But that is not what we got. What we got was attacks and threats and lies and more attacks and threats. I'm going to take your license. I'm going to take your job. I'm going to call your boss and get you fired, to which I made the invitation. By all means, call my boss. You can call the president for the organization I work for. I'm okay with that. You may hear a familiar voice on the line when the boss answers. Hi, can I help you? So go ahead, try to get me fired. It's going to be a really hard thing to do. Okay. Not because I'm so great, but because I own my company. Okay. So stop with the threats. When you threaten people, especially when you threaten people with things that are unrelated to the course of conversation on YouTube, when you threaten people, when you go at people, sometimes you reveal your own ignorance, right? When all you're trying to do is just create harm, you're not trying to right a wrong, you're not trying to call attention to an important topic. When all you're trying to do is just petty junior high school burn book mean girl crap, that's when you come across looking very, very foolish. And there is a creator on YouTube that I have tremendous respect for. I don't ever talk about him. I don't ever bring up their channel. Everybody knows the channel. It's a huge channel. But my respect for him comes from his accomplishments, who he is in the real world. He doesn't hide who he is. He has a YouTube channel. He has a website that gives his whole vita and background and history and training. And, I just admire him. And I think, this is one of the people that has made, one of the psychologists that has made the decision to include YouTube commentary as part of their curriculum vitae, as part of their professional activities. I have not. I spoke with my attorneys. I spoke with my family. I spoke with colleagues, and I made the decision, I don't want that. I don't want to be a YouTube psychologist or a TikTok psychologist. I don't want to do that. And some people said it's very lucrative, and you already do commentary. I don't want that. My point of being here on YouTube is 100% selfish. My point of being here on YouTube is 100% friends. That's all. So my decision has been made. My decision has been made that I very, 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 very much enjoy just talking, just chatting, just being one of the crowd. That's my thing. Right? But I know who some of these psychologists are that are making a living with YouTube content and commentary. Probably the most notorious is Jordan Peterson, correct? However, I'm different, see, because I knew about Jordan Peterson decades ago. I first ran across Jordan Peterson when he was teaching at Harvard. And I watched, he took all of his Harvard lectures and loaded them up on his channel. He didn't start out trying to be famous. He's just an academic. He's a researcher. He's just, he's a genius. Even if you hate his politics, and I respect that, I am not making a comment on politics. I'm talking about before he was political. He had a PhD in clinical psychologist from McGill University. His undergraduate degrees are political science, and then he has an undergraduate in psychology from the University of Alberta, but he has a PhD. Yes, Christine. That would be called a Doctor of Philosophy. Christine. You know how they say that it's better to keep your mouth shut and be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt? Know that? Man, you stepped right off in that one big time. So I'm here to say today what Dr. John Matthias can't really say because I've made a different path than he has. My path is I am no YouTube psychologist. I want to go and gossip. I want to be one of the girls. I just want to chit chat and have fun. So if I want to comment on bad behavior, I'm able to do that. My job makes no difference, none. I'm just a person here, and I have made that clear from probably 2 years into doing YouTube commentary. The choice was made, and I have been very vocal ever since. Do not hang the code of psychologist on me when I'm commenting on YouTube. I'm just one of the girls, one of the old ladies. I'm the old lady. Okay. So Jordan Peterson, Harvard researcher, teaching at Harvard, professor. One of the most important contribution for me from Jordan Peterson was his diagnoses of all of the Disney princesses. They all have a personality disorder. And it was brilliant. It was wonderful. And I was, a neophyte at the time that I came across that. And it was super. And then, we went on and we diagnosed like Janis Joplin and, other very well-known public figures. So you do that as a teaching exercise, not to hurt people, right? It's to figure out and learn where is that line between just personality and pathology. All right. And there are some personality disorders that are incredibly frightening. Some personality disorders scare me to death. For example, there are people that love to hurt others. Like they love it. Like they'll do complicated machinations to be able to pin something ugly on somebody. It doesn't matter if it's true or not in the world of monetizing the race to the bottom. The race to the bottom is lucrative, right? I mean, isn't that what happened with Brittany J? Isn't that what was driving her as she got up on a live stream with Kim and Crafton and weaponized crimes against children? So she could be the winner? So she could laugh at Cluminati, make fun of Clue? Discount Clue's honor and integrity? You better not listen to Cluminati. Let me tell you what happened to her child. You're a bad person if you do that. You're a bad person if you believe that to win one of the YouTube flame wars, you are willing to weaponize harm against a child. What is wrong with you? Right? Now then, we have another Brittany J kind of person here. So let me get this up on your screen here. Add to the stage. Good morning, Cinnamon Hot Hot. Good to see you. Ceresia Sly. Great to see you. Common Sense. Welcome. I love Common Sense. Kelly, oh, my friend. I will not be a white knight for hidden true crime. I won't be a white knight for anyone, but I can clearly see they are trying to get ahead of something and do damage control. Stalking is evil. I'm sorry, but I just never saw any solid proof that Lauren is being stalked. Yeah, well, y'all are going to find out what my topic is. Hey, Martian. Yesterday on a live was walking his dog. The glarer was walking his dog. He declared he intends to expose Lauren. My understanding of what he said, check it out. Okay, so you can see, can you do a segment on covert narcissism and how to handle them? I'm ending a marriage to one. God bless you, hound lover. Learn how to control your anger, first of all, because they're going to pick and pick and pick. So developing some really, really solid coping tools right now in terms of like using breath work. Andrew Huberman on the Huberman Lab, he does such great work talking about breath work. It's called diaphragmatic breathing or double breathing. There's a lot of different tools to use your breath, your levels of oxygen, use that to lower blood pressure and create a sense of calm and peace. So Huberman Lab with the breath work is a great way. Oh, good, hound lover. Yeah, man, that you are in a tough situation. That is brutal. Also being able to have a daily routine where you're doing things that are lowering just your baseline anxiety so that when things happen that trigger you, and he's going to do it intentionally, right? When you get triggered, you will already have a toolkit for how to manage that so that he doesn't take over your day and take over your thoughts. Never give up your thoughts, your mind. Never give up your mind to a narcissist or antisocial personality disorder. Never. Name it. Let them own their responsibility and don't you take responsibility for them. Not by a long shot. But yes, I would be absolutely happy to do that, to talk about covert narcissism. And let me make sure that I make me a note here. Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. Okay, because I don't want to get derailed today on this. Okay, thank you, hound lover. I will definitely do that. And my prayers are with you, dear, because you're in a bad situation. Okay, let's see. One thing clearly obvious, a serious lack of professional boundaries. All right. Unhealthy boundaries are continuing. Okay. So here is where, so first of all, let's take a listen to Christine or Christina. Can't remember exactly how. Is it Christine or Christina? Christina. Okay. So let's take a listen to Christina, and then I'm going to address the point of my live today. Okay. I did, this is a very, very complicated situation with a lot of moving parts. Remember what I said about monetizing drama has put us into a race to the bottom, right? That the worse you go, the lower you go, the more engagement there is, because there's money there, correct? Also, how long have we listened to these like discussions, memes, jokes about, housewives gossiping over the fence, during the day? Or people gossip. That is human nature. people are interested in others. They're interested in the way they live their lives. That is a natural human curiosity. The other thing that we do that is very, very natural is we form tribes, right? We form groups of people. We surround ourselves with people that reflect back onto us the things that we value most. So if you really, really value people that are really strong and they're prone to like stand up for their beliefs and opinions loudly, then you're probably going to have a lot of friends that are tough guys. You're probably going to find those kind of people funny or interesting. But if you're the kind of person that really values peace and privacy, then your tribe, the people that you gather around you, will be people who, you know, speak very politely to one another, pass one another in the grocery store with a serene smile on their face, and they invite one another to the church social on Sunday. Okay. You get my point, right? The things that matter to us, the things that we value, that will be the types of people that we're attracted to. And if you're a person who is extroverted, if you're a person that enjoys human discourse, if you're a person that likes to have arguments with others, to like debate kind of situations, then you are absolutely going to be attracted to what we now call drama on YouTube, right? That's what. No, Glenda, don't put words in my mouth, please. Don't do that. I talk a lot. I can definitely just explain myself. So just hang on. I'm getting to my point. I never said, Martian, that I admire SF investigators. Okay, because I lost you guys. I admire Dr. John Matthias. The reason that I admire John Matthias is because I recognize his professional path. I recognize the schools in which he has been educated. I hold the same degree that he does. I have a PhD. Yes, Christina, it is called a Doctor of Philosophy. It is the highest degree that one can earn in their field. Okay? So that is why I say I admire John Matthias. I have known of who he is. It's kind of a catty-wonker roundabout. In my dissertation, which is the crowning glory of a PhD, you have to develop your own idea. You have to be contributing to a body of science, something that is new and has not been done before, but it has to be supported by existing research. And then you have to develop the research project, collect the data, analyze the data, and then publish a book that describes what you learned from your data. Okay. It's a big damn deal, Christina. It's a big deal. It is the defining difference between a PhD and a PsyD, if we're going to talk about psychology. And it is a huge difference between a PhD in a field where you are providing direct care, as opposed to an academic PhD that would be, let's say, in history or engineering. Okay, so it's complicated, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. Is I wanted to talk about this little bit of information here. She brings up some serious ethical and professional questions about Dr. John Matthias that are just categorically inaccurate. And so that is what I'm trying to talk about. I'm not talking about Lauren, okay? I'm not talking about who's right and who's wrong. I'm not talking about that. I've acknowledged my own messy drama with Brittany J. I'm acknowledging that. I stand by it. I'm horrified what she did to Illuminati and her family, and I will continue to stand with Illuminati. But this is really about putting accurate information out there. I don't answer people's questions about whether I'm a psychologist or whether I have a PhD or whether I, work at McDonald's. Okay. I don't answer people's questions. That people say those things. There's people on YouTube that don't like me. People say what they want to say. I let them. I just don't go listen. Okay. I just stay away from people that don't like me. And it's their business if they want to gossip about me. It's not my job to go around hitting people over the head that talk about me. Okay. So I do think that it is important as we go forward with these accusations of stalker or harasser or abuser or fraudster. I think it's important that we don't we don't say things that are wrong. I'm not even saying inaccurate. I'm saying hands down wrong. And so that is now where we're going to go. Since you guys made me jump ahead in my little talk, my little script. Okay, here we go. Let me make sure I got my sound up so y'all can hear it. All right, so this is Christina. We all know she's having a battle with Lauren of Hidden True Crime. Lauren did a 9-hour live about this whole situation the other night. Christina's got stuff out about it. It's a whole thing. It's its own genre. How's that? Okay, I'm kind of making fun of Brittany saying that. But it's this is a big thing. All of the channels around true crime or trauma, they're all doing lives about it, yada, yada. I am not going to say, I believe Lauren, I believe Christina. That is not the point of this live. The point of this live is to put accurate facts into the discussion. And then my work here will be done. And I probably will not ever comment on this again. So here we go. Let's see.
Oh my gosh. Let me show you something. My ex-friend. Two-faced. Oh my gosh. Let me show you something. My ex-friend. Two-faced.
One of the things my ex-friend uses as almost street cred are her husband's credentials. She claims that he is a criminal psychologist, a forensic psychologist, and a clinical psychologist.
Okay. I don't think she's using him. My understanding is, isn't that their channel? Like, isn't it? Don't they go live together? I thought Hidden True Crime was all about a professional journalist and her psychologist husband discussing these crimes and trying to understand what may have gone wrong, right? Like, I thought that was their platform. Am I misinformed about that? Like, her actions, in my opinion, are harassing as well. They should both stop. Thank you, Callie. You're right. Okay. Thank you, Sly. Thank you, Angie. Okay. So I'm not wrong about that. Okay. So I wanted to make sure I was right that it is their channel together. When I was really watching them a lot, it was, of course, the Daybell, Vallow Daybell stuff way back in the beginning. I believe even before the children were found. Right? I mean, when I say way back, I mean way back. Because I remember, so I had conversation with one of the Daybell sons. And I've told my channel members before, he is an asshole. Okay, I'm telling you flat out, this kid was not only rude, but categorically a liar. And he really tried to put me into a legal problem. And when it happened, I was like, whoa, no, not me. I'm not the one. And I backed out of that very quickly. So I made comment. The reason I know that I was watching them way back then is because I remember making comment in the live about this interaction that I'd had with the Daybell kid. And then that followed up with some discussion about how the kids were rude to the police and the investigators there. So I know it's been that long ago. And even that many years ago, they were appearing together on screen, right? That I just thought that was their approach, that it was like a couples channel.
He has a psychology license. I found that that's a fact. She also claims he's been an adjunct professor.
Okay. If you have a psychology license, what that means is the state is governing what you do. The laws that are developed by the state for the practitioners, either healthcare practitioners or psychologists, those laws you must abide by. We also have a governing organization, the American Psychological Association, and some of us are a member of the American Psychiatric Association. Those professional organizations have standards for professional ethics as well. So as a professional psychologist who is offering direct services to the public, what that means for those of you who love to say, don't diagnose me. I know that's upsetting. Nobody's trying to diagnose you. There is a very clear path to a professional relationship that would end in a diagnosis that could be used to access services. Okay? You can't be diagnosed on YouTube. It's impossible. All right? Now, I want you to think about how many psychologists and psychiatrists went on to ABC News or Fox News or MSNBC and diagnosed Donald Trump or Joe Biden. Okay, they didn't diagnose them. They're talking about what they're seeing publicly, what is publicly available information. And then they're talking about how those signs and symptoms might be a certain diagnosis. Now, Trump's own niece is that, oh yeah, he's definitely clinically, he's a narcissist. Yeah. He antisocial personality disorder. She could actually lose her license to practice because she's making these very definitive diagnostic statements and she has a personal relationship with him. So she has cause to know information that you and I would not know, right? So please be careful about, just because somebody might have a PhD or an MD or whatever, if they start talking about, well, this looks like it could be vascular dementia, or maybe it's, some kind of traumatic brain injury, they're not diagnosing. If you're sitting in front of your microphone talking and you stop talking mid-sentence to snore, you look like you're nodding out. When your eyes are rolling up into your head, but your mouth is slurring words, you look to be under the influence of drugs. Doesn't mean you are. Maybe you have a brain injury. Maybe there's some other thing that's creating. But what most people are familiar with, someone at 2:00 in the afternoon who is talking and suddenly they just quit talking mid-sentence. Their eyes roll up in their head. They sort of bob around a little bit, and then they open their eyes and pick right back up at the middle of that sentence and continue talking. Looks like the traditional or well-known opiate nodding off, right? That's what it looks like. Or if you hear someone talking and their mouth is clicking, it looks like a heroin addict. It's smack. All right. So everybody relax and be careful about yelling at people diagnosing you. Nobody's diagnosing you. You can't diagnose someone you don't know. All right. So that's not what it is. It's commentary on things that you are putting out on your channel willingly. You are doing these things and letting people see it. Now, with this young woman, she's pulled up the directory of psychologists for, this is probably Utah. Is it Utah? Public directory, registrant. It doesn't say what state. Huh. Okay. Well, anyway, I think it's probably Utah. To get a license, a legal state-issued license to be a practitioner of psychology, to be able to call yourself a psychologist, you are measured, okay? You are investigated by the state. You're investigated. Every accomplishment that you've had is collected, and it has gone over through and through with a fine-tooth comb. You have to adhere to law that says to be a psychologist, you must accomplish A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. And only then do they issue your license. And you're not just done there. They don't just give it to you and forget that they gave it to you. You're never done with school. You're going to school all the time because you have to do continuing education hours, right? So Christina looked up his license because she knew his name. She looked up his license, can clearly see, yep, here's a psychology license, effective 2006, expires next year, December the 31st. Dr. John, I hope you are working on those continuing education hours, buddy, because if you're like me, you're going to be working your butt off like a dog for a few weeks to get them done. I myself have not been as conscientious as I usually am about my continuing education hours, but I'm a granny for the first time. So more important things have been taking up my time. So he's going to, have to have his continuing education hours ready to go next year. Okay. So he definitely has a PhD in psychology. You're not going to get a license, call yourself a psychologist without that PhD. Now, some states will allow yourself, if you have a master's degree, what do they call themselves? They have a different term, but they can't call themselves a psychologist without some very specific guidelines. So there's some master's degrees that call themselves a psychologist, but it's not very many of them, right? Okay, so that is established. Okay, the state of Utah has looked at anything and everything that Dr. Matthias has ever done. They've checked all of his credentials. They've tested him in a way that you just can't imagine. The silly licensing tests that you take are brutal, absolutely brutal. You also have to take a test for your state that the laws of your state that govern healthcare and psychology. It is a multi-year process to be licensed for the first time. You have to have like 3,500 direct client contact hours before you can even apply the first time. It is a lot of work. In fact, the majority of my friends, the people that I graduate, or the people that I know that I was friends with that graduated from my program, the majority are not licensed. The majority have chosen to work in hospitals and whatnot under another psychologist license, right? Yeah, so it's a very difficult path to get that license. You don't just go and give them your name and say, I'd like to have a license, please to practice psychology. That is not how it works. Okay, Christina? If he's got that license, he's got the required education. And Dr. John Matthias is educated in a way that a majority of people are not.
Psychology license. I found that that's a fact. She also claims he's been an adjunct professor at UNLV since 2007. Because this involves other people and I'm trying to figure out what's fact versus fiction, I decided to call up UNLV and see.
Okay. Adjunct means that the college will either call you and say, oh my God, we're in a bind. We need somebody to cover our abnormal psych classes. Could you take one or two of those for this semester only? Here's another thing that you can do with an adjunct professor. So when I was in my PhD program, I was diagnosed with cancer and I had like 4 surgeries on my face, right? So it was a big deal. It wasn't just getting the surgery, but then afterwards, I was just like somebody took a stick and beat me over the head. Both eyes were bruised and swollen, and it was scary looking. I had all kinds of weird medical stuff done to fix my scar, the defect, where they removed the cancer and everything. So it was a lot. I was given the choice. In fact, I was kind of encouraged to take a sabbatical, take a year or two and not work at all on my college stuff and just heal from the surgeries and stuff. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to fall behind, right? I liked my class. They were my friends. And I didn't want to just lay around. I didn't want to just sit around and be frightened and afraid about what was going to happen and be scared. And so I came up, with an agreement that when I would have the surgeries, I would, be out of class for several weeks. And then when I would come back, I would try to use makeup and cover the bruises or wear big glasses or whatever. And they were amazing. They were awesome. They were like, are you sure you can do this? I was like, it's better for me to do it and have something to focus on. I don't want to identify with being a patient, right? That I didn't want to get hooked on, I have cancer. I didn't want that for myself. So I stayed in school. And there was, I think, 2 semesters. I had 1 semester, then I had a regular semester, and then another one. Yeah. I had 2 semesters that were not consecutive. They were broken apart. They're not semesters at my school. They're called quarters. They're a little bit shorter than a semester. Anyway, I had 2 quarters in a single year where I did what was called independent study. All right. And I did that because I was going through the surgery and the treatment, and it was just impossible to try to go to class, right, and do the traditional route. So I had a psychologist who became my professor, but I was the class was made for me, and the professor was chosen as an adjunct to teach me, to advise me during that time. So I didn't have to be on campus at a given time or day. We did a lot of work by telephone. A couple of times we met like at a restaurant, or we would go into the college and just meet in the computer room, like in a study room. This psychologist was not a salaried professor with the university. They were someone that my department chair reached out to and said, hey, we have a student. She's going through these medical things. She wants to keep on working. We're going to do it by independent study. Would you be willing to offer, be her advisor during that time? They paid him. He was receiving pay, but it was an unusual kind of odd setup. And yeah, he's described as an adjunct. He's extra. He's brought in to fill in a gap. This is really common. To be an adjunct professor is really, really common in higher education. Like another example would be, so I have a lot of experience working with like medical patients, trauma patients, people that are living in the hospital and trying to overcome various, physical damages. There's not a lot of psychologists that do that work. And it's definitely a different type of experience. Most of us that do that kind of work, we are heavily, heavily influenced by behavioral psychology or behaviorism. And that is like, okay, teaching the little dog to sit and then giving them a treat, right? Where you're shaping and molding behavior through the use of reinforcement and punishment. I'm not a punisher. I don't like punishment, but I'm being descriptive as I explain this. That used to be, behaviorism used to be a predominant field of study in psychology, and it has kind of fallen by the wayside. It was replaced by cognitive behavioral therapy. Now we've gone into dialectical behavior therapy. There, of course, there's a lot of other influences now, and we've kind of come back full circle around back to the brain. And we learn to be who and what we are. We also can learn how not to be that. And that's kind of my big overriding influence is, how do you take someone who's been traumatized and hurt, and they're dealing with physical limitations now because of the physical damages. How do they relearn their life? Right? Like if you go from being a football player, highly conditioned, physically strong and powerful, and then you get it, you get your neck broken, and now you're living as a paraplegic in a wheelchair. How does that person learn to embrace this new reality and live a good, happy life that they truly embrace? It is easy. You can do it. People do it all the time if they know the process to take. And it is a very methodical pathway, right? Because you're basically following the stimulus response pattern. So I'm really simplifying that, but people can relearn to be whomever, whatever life they want. They can learn it. They can. All right. Okay. So, now I'm going to be quiet and let her continue basically telling the world that Dr. John Matthias is not who he says he is.
Dr. So-and-so has been an adjunct professor since 2007. No, you have no records at all working for UNLV? No.
I'm sorry, Christina, that you are completely wrong about what you're saying. And that's okay, because this is not your life. You're not in academia. You're not in higher education. So it's okay. But you are putting yourself in legal jeopardy with the way that you've presented this information.
Okay. Well, I find paper online that shows that he's willing to supervise PhD students doing their thesis project.
Correct.
My question is the man who got his PhD in philosophy, not
What? What? Okay, there's a word, there's two words on that page that I've got up there right there. What words do you think I should draw attention to? Which words? Let's try it. Okay, I'll say the two words. Princeton University. Who knows what Princeton University is? Oh, one of the big three Ivy League colleges, right? Right up there with Harvard and Yale. Yes, absolutely. Harvard, Yale, Princeton. In fact, Princeton is where Martin Seligman was a professor for years and years and years and years. And he's like one of my heroes. My top hero professionally is Albert Bandura. And that's a reflection of my core foundation as a behaviorist, right? Albert Bandura. But Martin Seligman, he's the father of positive psychology, which is really, really big right now, right? Oh, yes, seclusion, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Cornell, Pennsylvania State, Stanford, Brown. These are the big ones, guys. I mean, please. He does not have his degree is in philosophy. He is a fraud. How dare he? Stop. Christina, stop. PhD. You know what that stands for? Doctor of Philosophy. That's what it stands for. Whether it is clinical psychology or whether it is counseling psychology, or you can, okay. I need to, no, he is no fraud by a long shot. Look, he is not a fraud. He is a brainiac. All right. He's like at the top of his fields, truly. All right. Y'all listen, he does evaluations for federal court. Do you understand that? I mean, we have interest in true crime, right? And we do discuss it. Like, we like to talk about it, but we're not attorneys for the most part. And yes, some of us do forensic evaluations. And I had a period of time in my life and training where I was doing forensic evaluations, and I, testify in court as an expert witness, as a fact witness. People just don't know what they don't know. And that's what this is. That's why this was an important live to do. It's not a statement. This is not a statement on whether Christina is right or Lauren is right. This is a statement on accurate factual knowledge. John Matthias, doctor of psychology, his master's degree was from Princeton, where he won awards. What? His thesis at Princeton University, he won monetary awards. Do you understand that? Do you think they just give that out? Like, no, you get to put that on your vita forever. If you end up making a contribution at the top of your field that comes with an endowment, you get to say endowed professor of yada yada, endowed psychologist. You get to say, I'm a big deal. John Matthias gets to say, I'm a big deal. He's not gonna, because, you know, he's a little bit shy, right? I think, just, I don't know him personally, but judging, you know, by his demeanor, I think sometimes he's not altogether comfortable, you know, which is fine, because I think that is very, very common for people that are very brilliant and they pursue higher education. In fact, one of my very famous professors laughed when we did our Myers-Briggs test, because he said to me, "Are you sure you want to get a PhD?" I said, "Yes. Why are you asking me that?" He said, "Because we just don't have your type in higher education." Yeah, I'm a little too extroverted and outspoken, right? But that's okay. I can control it when I need to. Now, so Dr. John Matthias is a big deal, okay? He's a big deal for those people that value education and academia, those people that understand that world. He's a big deal. Yeah, I don't know, Diana. I don't know. I was pretty shocked. In fact, I rewinded and listened a few times, and I was like, wait a minute. First of all, she's saying that he's not a psychologist because he has a doctor of philosophy. Honey, they're all doctors of philosophy, with the exception of something that is called a PsyD. And I'm going to type this in. Hold on. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, so we're talking about a PsyD or a PhD or an academic PhD. Okay. All right. So I typed it in. Here it is right here. Oh, he's well educated. Make no mistakes about it. He's the dude. He knows what he's doing. And it's laughable that this was approached in this way. So Dr. John Matthias, who should be addressed as doctor because he is an expert, all right? He is licensed as a clinical and forensic psychologist. So I am a psychologist. I'm talking about for the state of Texas. I'm a psychologist. I also hold additional licensing that extends my license to 42 states. I can do therapy over like telehealth, or if I visit another state and I need to see someone in that state, there's 42 states that I can work in, that I can see patients who are in those states, even though I'm in my home state. I hold a second state-held license in another state for a very specific reason. But yeah, so it is not unusual. Again, it's not unusual to have multiple licenses because of the way the laws are, right? Because of what is required, each state and how they define various legal situations. So he's a licensed clinical and forensic psychologist. He has 30 years of experience in both clinical and forensic work. It doesn't matter that he had a master's work in marriage and family therapy. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You get a generalist degree first and then you specialize. Now, Dr. John Matthias serves as expert witness for the United States government. He's federal. He has numerous high-profile cases for district attorneys' offices, but he's also worked for defense attorneys. That means he does both. He'll work for the prosecutors, he'll work for the defendants. He doesn't get up there and say what they pay him to say. He gets up there and tells the truth about his testing and evaluation. Because if he wasn't doing that, he would not be hired by district attorney's offices. Dr. Matthias, his developed and stated expertise is in personality assessments, which is fascinating work. It's so interesting. I love it. Hidden behavioral motivations. I know, we behaviorists, we're out there. We're lurking beneath the surface. They can't see us, but we're there. He also does a lot of work with complex trauma, which is one of my specialties. Complex trauma, and then criminal psychology, which I don't do at all now. I had a period of time when I did, but I don't do it at all now. In the clinical realm, he's worked with numerous victims. He received a master's degree, marriage, family, and child counseling from the University of Southern California. But his dissertation was on child trauma. If that's not good enough, if you still don't believe that he's a real psychologist, if you want to go back to high school, because that's as far as your education went, Christina, Dr. John was valedictorian from his very large high school in Chicago, Illinois. So he's not a big fish in a little tiny pond. He's a big ass fish in a big ass pond. So I found the video that she made trying to now do exactly what Brittany J did in terms of taking a family member of a hated YouTube creator to try to hurt the YouTube creator. You did that, Christina. Your beef is not with John Matthias or Dr. Matthias. That's not who you're mad at. Not by a long shot. You are disagreeing with Lauren. You're disagreeing with a YouTube creator. That's who you're upset with, is the YouTube creator that you befriended, that you were friends with for a year, I think. If I'm wrong about that, I apologize, but I believe it was a year. So if you were wronged by Lauren, why are you dragging a professional psychologist through the mud? Why? What exactly did this man do to you? Sincerely, what did he do that he deserves? Yeah, 100%, Marcia. Same exact story. I'm going to hurt Cluminati by dragging her baby girl through the mud. Same story. If I'm wrong, I want you guys to tell me I'm wrong. I want to hear it. This is exactly the same motivations. This is exactly the same process. I just hate that lady. I just hate what she says on YouTube. I hate the way she treats me. I hate her. I hate that old Cluminati. I hate that old Lauren. I know how to hurt them. I'll go after their families. I'll take a small child whose records are sealed by the court. And that ought to tell you right there. Brittany J., you are wrong, 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 wrong. Christina, what right do you have to tell people that this guy isn't a psychologist? He doesn't have a doctorate degree in psychology. That he's lying about who he is and where he is. You have opened yourself up, little lady, to very real legal problems. And the only reason that you took this dangerous path, Christina, is because you wanted to use Dr. Matthias as a weapon against Lauren. You don't care how you hurt her. You know no limits and no boundaries. What you do is designed 100% to simply cause harm. You are not interested in truth. You are not interested in authenticity. You are not interested in facts. Princeton University, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, that order. The biggest names coming out of Princeton, amazing psychologists. Martin Seligman, amazing people. He won monetary awards for his thesis. No, we're not talking about his dissertation. His dissertation was something else. Y'all want to know what his dissertation was? Children and Domestic Violence, a Developmental Framework. You see, I told you I knew about him, right? You want to know why? Because sometimes when you work in medical organizations, your patients have been the victims of domestic violence, and that would include children. And so it's super important that if you're going to be working in a hospital and you're going to be working with little kids that have experienced medical trauma, you need to understand how domestic violence actually interferes with their developmental pathway. I read his dissertation years ago. And so when I was watching Lauren and I saw Dr. John Matthias, why is that familiar to me? I was like, why is that familiar? And then I was like, I know who he is. I mean, I don't know him, but I had read his stuff. So his thesis gets a monetary award, endowment, because it was so good. And then his dissertation is like foundational. Children and Domestic Violence, a Developmental Framework. He is exactly who he has said he is. He is exactly as he has represented himself in public and in private. He is exactly who he is. And he doesn't come on and, hold his nose up in the air and act like, oh, I'm a very important man. I am a super special, important man. No, he just likes things. He likes to think. It feels good for his brain to consider stuff because he's a smarty pants. And so, Christina, you're wrong, girl. You are absolutely in the wrong. You want to hurt Lauren. I don't know what happened between y'all. None of my business. I don't know what is going on there. But I know that calling someone's licensing board to get to report them, to have their license taken from them because you don't like her. Either I don't know if you did it. I don't know if the people listening to you did it. I don't know, and I don't care. But you need to know that Dr. John Matthias is the real deal, and that means he has a real support. Martin Seligman, the man that I was telling you about, he graduated with a bachelor's degree in psychology from Princeton University, and his doctorate degree was from the University of Pennsylvania, and he's gone on to be a world-renowned psychologist. In fact, one of the papers that every single PhD student in psychology has to read is by Seligman and Rosenhan. It's a flagship piece of work. This guy came from exactly the same program as Dr. John Matthias. I mean, how do you even make this up? And you're sitting there going, well, I don't know if he could be a psychologist because his degree is not in psychology. His degree is in philosophy. Okay, so let's look at okay, so there's 3 degrees here to consider in terms of just knowledge so that you can listen, you can separate the bullshit from the truth, okay? They are a PhD, a PsyD, and then an academic PhD. Specifically, PhDs occur across fields, and some share a similar structure like an academic PhD. You start with your coursework that is there to develop your foundational knowledge about your field. You will have to take qualifying exams before you can start on a dissertation. That is a whole another trauma in and of itself. Are your comprehensive finals? They're a nightmare. I'll talk about them one day, but I'm not gonna do it here. If you pass your comprehensive finals in your PhD program, the majority of people don't pass the first go around. Takes a couple of times before they pass it all. It's just brutal and it's very, very intensive. After you've done that, then you're cleared for independent work, or you're invited to leave the program if you haven't been able to pass after 2 or 3 times taking them. I don't remember. Then if you're approved, if you become a PhD candidate, you're approved. Now you can start working on your research. You start by making a presentation to the professors, to the college, saying this is the research I want to do. This is how I think it's useful. This is why I want to do it. Then they vote to say, yeah, this is a good project, or they send it back and say, nope, it's not going to do any good. And then when you finally get everybody's signature and they're like, move ahead, it's a good project, then you start putting your project together, gathering your data. And then finally, you analyze your data, and then you write your book, your dissertation. And then the big one, you have to go up in front of the university. There'll be invited people that get to come from the community. There was a guy from England that came and listened to mine. And you're defending the dissertation, and they the professors and stuff challenge you and whatnot. So it is your original study. It's basically a book, and it's your crowning achievement, right? For this type of PhD, the whole process will take about 7 years. You cannot finish it any earlier than like 5 or 6 years. That is how bad this is, okay? I've made jokes in the past about they do not give you PhDs for being smart. They give you PhD for being able to tolerate abuse in ways that other people can't tolerate. But anyway, 5 to 7 years. Although I have seen some programs that would give you like up to 9 years with permission to finish the depending on the type of research you're doing, like if you're doing a longitudinal study or something like that. So this is a big deal. And Christina, this is for you and for your followers. The PhD is distinguished from the PsyD, right? So the PsyD is a doctorate degree of psychology. Now you're commenting on Doctor of Psychology, but you don't understand it because you acted like, oh, the PsyD is what you have to be a practicing psychologist, delivering services to the public as patients. You got backwards on that. So a PhD, a doctor of philosophy and psychology, especially if it's clinical, That is a research practitioner's model. That means you are being trained to be a researcher, and you're being trained to deliver services as a practitioner. So you're doing this huge research project. You're adding to the field of knowledge in a unique and important way. A PsyD is more practice focused. They have more clinical work, face-to-face hours with patients, but they don't do the research project. They'll do like a case study, like a capstone project, right? Those degrees are dramatically less, about 4 years. Well, part of that is because your PhD in psychology, you're being trained to be an academic doing research or being a practitioner. It's a huge degree. We that have those PhDs, you know, what do they say? Piled high and deep. Okay, we own it because we're proud of it. It was tough. It probably wasn't hard for John Matthias because he's brilliant, genius. But for mere mortals such as myself, it was hard work. And I'm really proud of it. And I will wave it around and say, speak to me with respect. No, I don't do that. Okay. But a PsyD is dramatically less training. It's much, much less time in actual work. Both your PhD, Doctor of Philosophy, and a PsyD, Doctor of Psychology, you are able to be licensed as a psychologist. You can work in a private practice or clinic, or you can do teaching, right? And if you're a PhD, you're going to be the guy who's getting hired to be a professor doing research. PsyDs are not. PsyDs are practicing, but they're not. If they're in academia, they're teaching specific classes like, I don't know, developmental psychology or abnormal psychology. All right. Okay. So there's a third issue here. There's PhD. So PhD takes about 7 to 9 years. PsyD is about 4 or 5 years. And then there's an academic PhD. And hold on a minute. I need to get a drink of water. Hold on. Okay. So an academic PhD, let's say like in history, maybe engineering, those are PhDs. You address those people as doctor if you're in a like an academic setting, right? Their degrees take about 2 years to finish. They're a completely different process than what practitioners are doing. So with a doctor of psychology, a doctor of philosophy, and a doctor of psychology, those are 2 programs that you are being prepared to offer services to the public. You're being prepared for working with patients, clients, right? As opposed to being an expert in a particular field of study. Now, the courts, if we do an evaluation or we're being brought in as expert witness on something, the court will define you expert in whatever a certain field is. Like children and domestic violence, like healing factors from trauma, complex trauma. Well, there's a lot of different ways that you can be identified as an expert for the court system. Okay, so master's degree is usually a year or 2 if it's academically focused. The doctorate degrees, 2 to 4 years, but really engineering isn't really a good example because the engineering degrees can be quite intensive because they do often have actual research involved in their projects. So, but yeah, so it just, the reason I wanted to put all this out there is because for knowledge, right? For awareness that Christina has really slandered Dr. Matthias. Like she's accused him of fraud, among other things. And I think you got to be really careful. And the best way to make sure that you don't slander someone in a way that you're harming their professional pursuits, because they can come for you legally, which is much different than what Brittany J has put out there. You can't attack people for having an opinion on your words and your behavior. But when you start misrepresenting and knowingly lying to people, you're committing fraud. Now, so I want to listen again to exact words, and I'm not going to interrupt her this time, but I've explained to you the facts, the reality of who Dr. John Matthias really is. Now listen to how this lady has presented him. And remember, she doesn't even have a beef with him. But she says she's hurting Lauren by slandering her husband. And I just want to ask you this. Do you really think that this is a guy that deserves this kind of professional assault?
Her husband's credentials. She claims that he is a criminal psychologist, a forensic psychologist, and a clinical psychologist. He has a psychology license. I found that that's a fact. She also claims he's been an adjunct professor at UNLV since 2007. Because this involves other people and I'm trying to figure out what's fact versus fiction, I decided to call up UNLV and see if Dr. So-and-so has been an adjunct professor since 2007. No, you have no records at all working for UNLV? No. Okay. Well, I find a paper online that shows that he's willing to supervise PhD students doing their thesis project. My question is a man who got his PhD in philosophy, not psychology, philosophy, got his master's degree in marriage and family and child counseling, that does not have his PhD in psychology, then able to call himself a doctor of psychology or able to supervise doctorates in psychology when he has his doctorate in philosophy. Also, is he able to be a forensic psychologist? One other.
Yes. You are wrong. And you probably want to make a video correcting the record that for the things that you have said, because you did it for one reason. You did it to hurt his wife, and you gave no consideration to the tremendous lies that just came out of your mouth. Okay. So, now that let me look at my notes very quickly and see if I talked about everything, all the points I wanted to make. Hold on, if you give me just a second. Oh, you know what I could do while I'm reading through this to make sure I hit all of my talking points? I know. Let's play a little song. I'm just going to read through my notes real quick because I want to make sure I didn't forget anything.
Woke up at dawn with the pelicans in flight. Coffee brewing strong by dawn's early light. Waves whisper secrets to my open heart. The life around this water gets me off to a great start. Parrots wild, squawking loud in the old palm tree. Dolphin smiles, brighter than the Texas sun on me. We chase simple dreams, nothing fancy or grand.
Okay, here's one last thing. I just love that song. It's such a happy little song, isn't it? I love it. All right. Now then, one last thought. Here's the bottom line. When we talk about the difference between a doctor of philosophy, who is a clinical or counseling psychologist, and there's also forensic psychology you can get a PhD in. You can get a PhD in industrial organizational psychology. The doctor of philosophy for clinical counseling psychology. These are the people who do psychology. Like we actually do the stuff that we learned about. Meaning we're not telling a story, right? We read other people's research. We learn all about the different theories of psychology, the historical psychologists that came before us, and physicians that have written about psychological issues. And then we figure out a way to take that knowledge and apply it to a human being today. We figure out a way to take that knowledge and help someone who's trying to overcome something. And this is actually one of the reasons why I love the whole positive psychology, because it is a very, very powerful position to heal and improve one's life. The Freudian psychology, the psychosocial stuff, it requires that you go dig down into the murky, dark, dirty, nasty, awful things that you've experienced, right? And I have contended on more than one situation. How do you know you're not re-traumatizing people if this is the route you want to take? But so I'm a behaviorist, right? Before, if I'm working with somebody who's dealing with trauma, complex trauma and whatnot, the very first thing that I do, the absolute first step, is teaching coping tools. I want to teach someone how to control their thoughts, how to recognize when their brain is leading them into a fantasy catastrophe. And I want to teach them how to use their breathing to calm themselves. I want to teach them how to use their mind to sort of separate from trauma and go into the imagination of a pleasant, safe location. I'm going to teach them these skills first, so that then when we start working with the real trauma, the real problem, they're not going to get triggered and be at a loss. That if talking about some of the things that may have happened, if they get triggered and begin to suffer, they have the tools they need to rescue themselves and calm themselves. Because when they learn that they can do that, then confidence just shoots through the roof. And now they're well on their way to healing. It's a big factor for healing, right? So people that want to do psychology, they want to learn the theories, they want to read research from other people and apply it in new situations with actual people that are struggling or just wanting to do better, then that is your clinical PhDs. Yes, Christina, they are doctors of philosophy. But you're talking about somebody who studied for nearly 10 years to reach a level of excellence and knowledge. Dr. John Matthias can't go any higher in education. He is the expert, Christina. He can have other people, other psychologists working beneath him, that he gets to say, this is good work, I'm going to put my name on this and sign off on it, or this is not good work, you need to go and study more, or you need to go and do more, change this, or whatever. He is the authority, Christina, and you have slandered him professionally. And now we'll see if you have the integrity to right that wrong. If you're wanting just pure academia, then sure, there's a doctor of education or something else, but you're teaching what is already out there. You're not providing face-to-face services. You're not doing anything that could change another person's ability to maneuver through their life. Dr. Jill Biden is one of those. Jill Biden has a 2-year academic degree in education. She's a doctor of education. She's a college teacher, a professor. They're very elite. You're the best. You know more than anyone knows about your field. Hers, it happens to be education, teaching standards. But to be front-facing, discussing, talking, interacting with another person that you have influence over another person's health, over their life, you are heavily monitored. The state is watching you. You have to be sane, right? You have to be healthy. You don't want to walk around and say, oh, well, I'm really worried about this patient, so I'm going to consult my psychic. We get a little nervous about those types of situations. So I'm really nervous about Christina putting out such blatantly wrong information. And first of all, it's important that when we talk about someone's professional reputation, that we're accurate. Okay. We can't attack people just because we don't like them. That is not noble, right? And the second reason that I wanted to really clarify this is because I don't think a man like John, or a woman, a person like John Matthias should ever be attacked like this. His background and history, he has earned my respect through notable accomplishment. So don't do that, Christina. Don't do that. This was bad call on your part. You want to be mad at Lauren. You want to go at her. That's I don't know nothing about nothing. I don't know anything about that. But I know exactly who John Matthias is. I read his dissertation years ago on children and the effects of domestic violence, how it affects them developmentally. That he is at the top of his field, you guys. Make no mistake about it. And I know what I'm talking about because I'm also a psychologist. I know. I have haters, and they say, she's no psychologist. She is not. Okay, well, you can go ahead and live with that if you want to, but I am. So late here, but glad to join this important conversation. It's evil what these people are doing to Lauren and family. It's just, look, remember when I started this live, I called it, well, I don't remember what my title was, but I said, it's a race to the bottom, right? When YouTube says we want our advertisers to get as much coverage as they can, and we are willing to slap ads on the most egregious behavior imaginable. The minute they did that, the minute that they made this about nothing more than clicks and views, it was off to the races for who could have the most outrageous bad behavior. And so far, in my opinion, Brittany J is winning that because she weaponized a little child's trauma, all so that she could get back at, no, I don't like that creator, Illuminati. I don't think I'm going to ever get past that. I am a child advocate. I am a defined expert witness. I am involved in factors of healing following trauma and complex trauma. That is my field. I know what it's like to have to go into the hospital with a child where there's questions of domestic abuse or violence, and know what those injuries look like. And the fact that courts seal these cases so that petty small people like Brittany J can't go dig those cases up out of the archives and dust them off, right, to attack someone. So worst thing, I just don't know that I'll ever be able to get past what she did. And I'm so embarrassed that I believed her manipulation. And that is covert narcissism, right? That's what we were talking about a while ago. Being tricked by someone's front-facing demeanor. And all it's doing is hiding the monster within. So yeah, I'm going to enjoy doing the talk with covert narcissism. But it will be 100% from me as a person and what I've experienced. I don't want to be Dr. Ramani. And I know I have a lot of my friends that say, oh my God, there's so much money. You should do it. I'm like, no, I don't. I like having my friends online. Yeah, I like having my friends online. At the end of the day, I'm tired. A lot of times my legs hurt, like if I've been walking all day. So they ache, right? And so I may be online at 1 o'clock in the morning just because I'm uncomfortable, and I enjoy having people to go and talk to or listen to them, and I just want to be one of the girls. It's all I care about, right? I don't need to do the Dr. Ramani pathway. So all right, but the information that I've given you on the training, the licensing, the PsyD, the PhD, and the academic PhD is all accurate. You now at least have enough information that you can Google and learn more about it. I've given you kind of the parameters. Yeah, I didn't give you a lot of depth, but I gave you breadth, which is enough to get you to a point that you'll be able to look for answers to clarify what you choose to believe or not believe. Yeah, I really hope so, Diana. But I think we've got to quit the real life attacks. Really, if someone makes you so angry with their talking smack, right? If someone makes you so angry that you're willing to use the assault of a child to laugh about and try to hurt that person that's talking smack all the time, you've lost the narrative, man. You have lost the narrative. And Christina, if you're willing to slander the professional reputation of a really, really accomplished, good person, you've lost the narrative. This little bit right here that we listened was enough to make me think she's full of shit. Because here, let me tell you why. And I don't know the story about these two women. I don't know what happened and what's going on with them. I don't know. I'm more aligned like with Kresha. Kresha and I have enjoyed talking, and I don't exploit that. And I don't try to benefit off of that. But I know what I know, right? And it just seemed when I heard her slamming Dr. Matthias, I just thought, no, this is just the same exact thing that Brittany J did. It's exactly the same. It's just slanderous. It's just, I don't care. I don't have any sense of right or wrong. I don't have any substance. And I'm willing to do anything to make me look good and you look bad. She's not even mad at Dr. Matthias. It's really unfortunate. Maybe you should move on. What? Man, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh God. Yeah, so sorry to hear that, Nina. For what reason would they report you? Yeah. No, I think the drama people, if they just, I think what it is if there's anything that they perceive as being like valuable to you, that's what they use to try to hurt you. So of course, Cluminati is just in love with her daughter, right? They just have a super healthy relationship. They're good friends, you know, it's just a good thing. And when people realize that, then they were like, oh, I know how to hurt her. Let's go after her kid, which is just an obscenity. Or you're an attorney, you're a licensed professional of some sort. Okay, so let's try to take their license away. Let's hurt them by taking away what is a lifetime achievement. These are people doing this that really don't have any accomplishment of their own. They're just trying to hurt. The goal is to hurt and cause harm. That's all it is. So I'm sorry that happened to you, Nina. Really sorry. They called the licensing board on John Matthias, which is so damn dumb. You guys don't realize something. The licensing boards, they have attorneys that are on staff. They're actually in the building, right? They're, because our board, they are the legal authority for that profession. So there's attorneys there, and that's their job. They know the ethics codes, they know all the laws, they know the limits to those laws. That's what they do. When you guys call and you say, oh my God, there's a psychologist and his name is John Matthias and he is on YouTube and his wife is horrible, I don't think he should have a license. And the attorney is like, okay, goodbye. Right? They don't care. To report a psychologist or a doctor or an attorney, there has to be like an event where their legal or psychological or medical knowledge was mishandled. Not, well, you're not going to like what that lady said. Stop. You're being petty. You're showing yourself up to look really weak and foolish. Quit. If you want to talk smack, you want to get online, you want to be a part of the yammer, do it. But just because you get your feelings hurt, it doesn't give you the right to rush out and try to destroy somebody's life. Don't do that. It's bad form, man. Yes, we love Crusha. Depraved comments on Lauren's deceased brother take the cake. Yeah, and actually, it is not unusual or weird for someone who has been identified as brain dead for a decision to be made to harvest their eggs or what, Lauren said they talked about. They didn't do it, but they had that discussion. That is not unusual, y'all. It's not unusual. If you think about this, let's say that you're a young woman of, let's say, 27. You've been married several years. You're with the love of your life. He's an amazing guy. He's smart. He's kind. He's everything. and you want a child. And the doctors are standing there saying, he is brain dead. He is not coming back. As soon as we turn this machine off, he's gone. Mentally, he's already gone to heaven. We are artificially keeping his body alive until we can harvest his organs. You know what they do? You know what they do? They will go in and harvest his, I hope nobody gets mad or weird, but semen, so that she can get pregnant with her husband, the man she loves, so that she has a piece of him, that critical union. This was not weird or strange or unusual at all. This is a conversation that happens in intensive care units all over this country every day. Sometimes it's a stroke. Sometimes it's someone who's had a catastrophic stroke. They are brain dead, and the young husband or the young wife, they're trying to make a decision. Do I take this opportunity, or is it lost forever? That's true. You know what else we've had that some people have said really awful things about? A mother who is pregnant and something happens and she ends up brain dead for maybe it's a car accident, maybe it's a fall, a stroke, something. She ends up brain dead. So she's in the intensive care unit. They're keeping her body alive and healthy, but her brain is not going to come back. There is no activity there at all. And she's 6 months pregnant. Guess what the family is going to be given the opportunity to do? Keep her alive until that baby is born. How would you like to be the husband of a woman who is 6 months pregnant and they said, oh, no, we can't take the baby. We're going to just have to turn the machines off. Too bad, so sad. Adios. You want to be that guy? No. The doctors come to you and they say, this is the situation. Here are our options. You, your family, take time, give it some discussion. We have a psychologist who's happy to come and talk with you and work through this. And you guys make a decision on what you want. And a lot of them are keep her alive. I want the baby. Is that weird? Is that bad? No, not at all. Just pettiness. They're just petty and wanting to cause harm, and they did. They caused, tremendous harm. So, yeah, I don't know. Moonlight View. I don't want to discuss all the subtleties of a viable human being. The brain is a very fascinating organ that can actually be in a situation where it has no chance of survival once the support equipment has been disconnected. But maybe there's still a bit of activity, but that's only because the machines are doing the work. So it's a lot. And I am not in a position to comment, and I'm not going to invade somebody's privacy by, doing that. Crusher invited you to have a discussion tomorrow on her channel. Tomorrow. I can do that. Where is she? Is she in here? Crusher, where are you? I'm looking. But yes, if you're still here, Crusher, yeah. What are we going to talk about? I'll talk about anything, girl. Bitter pill to swallow. Thank you so much for being here. You're amazing. Bitter pill said, well, what about a song about the Nazis? Again, all you're doing is showing your ignorance. That's all you're doing is showing your ignorance. You think you're coming at me to hurt me by saying that I somehow glorified Nazi Germany, correct? All that does is show that you are ignorant, because there was something about that song. It was pre-1939, right? Pre-1939, Hitler Germany. So here's what we could do, bitter pill to swallow. I could waste my breath and my time and my joy to educate you, to be the professor and teach you information about history that you don't know. But I don't want to do that. I just don't. But I would encourage you to go to Google or go to Chat GPT and type in what happened in pre-1939 Germany when the media was used to ridicule the Jewish so that the German people would not push back against the Nazi regime when they went into full force. Actually, see, you're just short-sighted and shallow of thought, and all you had heard was Germany went, oh my God. Really, you just said, wow. Hurt my throat. Hold on. Oh my goodness, I strained my voice. I'm so sorry. I was being a smart ass to bitter pill. Bitter pill. You're a bitter pill to swallow, my friend. Sorry. Let's see. Yeah, no, okay. So pre-1939 Germany. Okay, I believe the exact words were pre-1939 Germans antics. Isn't that what it says? The antics, the ANTIC, the games that the Nazis were playing in the early years before the 1940 nightmare. Hitler, the Nazi regime, they recognized that there would be German people that would never accept what they wanted to do, right? Which was to get rid of the Jewish people. They knew there was great discussion and talk. It all came out during the Nuremberg trials. There was a great deal of discussion about what are we going to do about the German populace, the regular citizens. What will we do about them? Because they're never going to let us do what we really want to do. And so they embarked on a planned campaign to make the German people look at the Jewish people like they were animals, less than. They used the media. They used posters that they put up around town. They used the radio. They used speeches, and it was all designed to belittle the Jewish people so that the German people would not interfere when the Nazis began rounding up the Jewish, right? So the antics, like I put in the song, the 1939 Germans' antics, they were the games of slander. what is really what it was. And if you'll hold on a minute, hold on just 1 second here. I'll put something up that will show you what I'm talking about. Just 1 second. Oh my gosh, you are a bitter pill to swallow. Man, that hurt my throat. It was my fault. I was being smart ass. Hold on a minute. Nazi propaganda pre-1938 or 1939. Let's see. I'm just going to read you AI, and I want to put an image up too, so you'll see what we're talking about. Here's one right here. Most of those images, they have eradicated and banned. Here's one right here. And most of them are really. I've got some books. Here's one. Good. Okay. Excuse me. All right, let me share this. Okay, so you see the picture that shows the well-dressed rat, right? That was part of the pre-1938, 1939 plan that was put together by Hitler and Himmler, and they said we have to dehumanize the Jewish people in the minds of the Germans, and then also Poland and Austria, right? Switzerland. That we have to dehumanize the Jews. We have to make people believe that they are not like us. We don't want the German people or these other countries that we're going to invade eventually. We don't want them having empathy for the Jewish people. We want them to look at the Jewish people as bad people, or not even people, but animals. And so they were often drawn and portrayed as sewage rats. They would show them as like dogs that were like ripping apart a little German child. So they were the Nazi party. They were engaging in a concerted effort to manipulate the public's opinion of a very specific group of people. And the crazy thing, it was so successful because these people, the Jewish people in the early, like 1938, 37, 36, 35, 34, these were like college professors. They're great pianists, artists, doctors. I'm telling you, what they did, most people really didn't believe that it was possible to change people's minds so completely just through a campaign of misinformation, nothing else. So in the song, when I put in there that this group of, like the haters on YouTube, the trolls, I guess you could say, that they're using the tactics of the pre-1939 Nazi party in Germany to manipulate the Germans' minds about a person, whether to have empathy for that person or whether to believe them if they speak. Correct? And you know, with Brittany J, my experience was here's another. See how they're showing like this person that has some Jewish features. He's got the Star of David instead of a pocket watch, and he's hiding behind Britain and the United States and Russia. But he's scary looking, right? He looks like he could be really dangerous and mean. He almost doesn't even look human. This kind of media campaign was everywhere. It was blanketed everywhere. They even went into Austria and put this stuff up and into the newspapers and stuff before they ever invaded into Austria. It was to weaken public resolve to stand in defense and not let a group of people be harmed. And then those same people were showing, you know, the German people like this, like an Adonis, right? Like a beautiful, strong, virile, you know, person. So if you look at these two things, who are you going to stand with? Are you going to stand with the scary dude in the shadows? Are you going to stand with the golden, tough, strong defender? And look right there. There it is. There's the eagle right there. Germany, Berlin, 1936 Olympic Games. The media manipulation was already in place in 1936. So all of you hated me. You guys hated me because of that one line in that dumb little song. But you just didn't even understand at all what it actually said. You thought that I was like somehow siding with the Nazis, maybe? And it was actually 100% the exact opposite. It was a statement on how people can band together to send a message that isn't accurate. And that's all that line in that song meant. It's what it is, the way that that the whole mobbing works. A group of people get together, they deliver information that is fraudulent, it's not accurate, but they're all saying it, and good, decent, intelligent people will begin to believe it. And it's part of the reason why I am so just, here's another one right here. Star of David on a snake. And it includes Russia as part of the snake, the American dollar part of the snake. This is very powerful messaging that's just visual. It's just symbols. That's all it is. And we found out, we meaning the human race, psychologists, psychiatrists, we found out that you can completely destroy a person's true life of reality and accomplishment and turn them into what appears to be a monster when they really didn't do anything wrong at all. And I felt like that was what was happening to Brittany J. Because I didn't know. I didn't have knowledge. But I thought, how in the world? Because this one sweet girl talking about true crime every night, why do all these people, why aren't they all saying the same thing? And I made a decision. I was willfully ignorant. I said to myself, there's no way this girl who's just talking about true crime every night has hurt all these people. This is like a smear campaign. This is like using media as a smear campaign. And my brain just went back into my educational background and history and said, oh, like pre-1939 Germans and ticks. That's all it was. And that boy, am I eating crow? I was in the wrong. I was 100% in the wrong. Brittany J did say that on the live. She did stay up on a live with Kim and Crafton on her channel laughing about a little child. She did do that. She did do that. I heard that. And it doesn't matter if I have a single friend left online or not. I am going to always try to, and that is bitter pill to swallow. That is the whole lineage of that song and that line in that song where I was standing in defense of her for what I thought was a smear campaign. And I was completely wrong, bitter pill. You know what I learned just like 3 nights ago? Maybe, no, it's probably been 4 nights ago now. I learned that Brittany J made a whole bunch of her mods sign non-disclosure agreements. What? What are you talking about? Who do you think you are? Non-disclosure agreements? Do you know what non-disclosure agreements are used for? I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I never knew about that, bitter pill. Just found out. I believe I was listening to Wispy. Is that her name? I think it's Wispy. I was just blown away. I was like, damn, girl, what in the hell are you doing on your channel that you're trying to shut up 8 people from talking? What did you say, for God's sake? So crazy, man. So crazy. Perf said, we all make mistakes. It's refreshing to hear somebody admit they made that. We're all human. I thank you. No, I thank you, Perf, for not hating me. I shouldn't laugh, but look, yeah, I'm embarrassed. But it is what it is. And you don't keep, here was what I was faced with. And I was sitting out on my front porch looking out at the ocean when I was thinking about it. And I was like, man, what am I going to do? This is so awful. The problem for me was there's a moral imperative. That was the problem for me. There's a moral imperative, and it doesn't, my embarrassment, my shame, feeling foolish, none of that matters. Like in the big scheme of things, none of that mattered. It would have been much easier, much easier to simply say nothing, to just stop going to her channel and say nothing. That would have been easy. But there was a moral imperative in terms of there are very good people in her channel, her chat. There are very, very, very good people that probably would never hear the truth. And I think the truth matters, even if it's inconvenient for you and me. So you can, I still just am sick about it. Just sick. Every time I think about it, I'm just, awful. Knowledge is power, Blonde PT. 100% it's power. Yes. Yeah. All right. Have you found MK Ultra yet? It's in the MK Ultra docs. Oh, I must not know what I'm talking about. Have you found MK? I don't know what MK often is. Unfortunately, when you stand up for children, you do lose friends and family and community. I have lost friends. Yeah. But we must stand up for children. And that is the bottom line. Correct. So I knew full well that, when I said my truth, I knew that there would be people that are ride or die. They're going to stand behind Brittany, behind that community. They're not going to leave. That's where they feel comfortable. That's home online, right? I knew that. And I liked those people a lot. And it just wasn't about me. It was about facts. It was about the truth. And I know this in my heart. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that anyone who is willing to weaponize the harm of a child for petty crap too, not for even important stuff, but petty YouTube crap. If you are willing to weaponize that, you have no limits. You have proven that, girl. The stories that you have put out after the court debacle. You blamed the judge. You blamed the clerk of courts. You blamed the lady at the DV department. You blamed your shitty small town. You blamed Rancher, the attorney. You blamed the subscribers. What's wrong with you? I don't believe that anyone believes you anymore. Whatever you say, Brittany, I don't think anyone believes you. I think there are people that are used to being in your channel and they have friends that are there. And so they're going there to hang out. I don't think they believe a single word you're saying. Not a single word. And all I can hope is that people are not giving you their money anymore. Such a shame. Such a shame. That might be a deep question. What's wrong with Brittany? It was sort of just, allegorical. Okay. It slipped out. I didn't mean it the way it sounded. It's quite, there she is. Hey, Crusha. The other day, GPT told me there was no such thing as a Charlie Kirk shooting. Girl, you're being gaslighted by everyone. There's not a Charlie Kirk shoot. That's crazy. So they're trying to control the narrative, maybe. Wow. That's crazy. Well, so what are we going to talk about tomorrow, Crusha? What do you want to talk about? Gaslighting's crazy though, right? AI is a 3-year-old's perspective with Harvard's vocabulary. Yeah, if you can trick it, right, Diana? If so you got to be really careful. If you're going to use it, you do have to double check the results for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I'm waiting on, I promise you, Crusha, I'm not something. We've all made mistakes out here, and I know I've talked shit on people. Just have to say, hey, man, I'm really sorry. I said that a lot. Of course, Blonde PT, and it's important that we stick to the facts, right? Will you entertain me questioning you about MK Ultra and true crime cases? I love MK Ultra. Well, I don't love MK Ultra. No, I love the history and the information regarding MK Ultra. And it's real. It did happen. I would contend that it continues to happen, especially in Hollywood and politics. Canada was sort of the proving grounds, right? So yeah, I think that would be a very interesting conversation for sure. Yeah, we'll do that. It'd be good. What time you want to do it? I can't do it during the day because I think I have people. I think I'm seeing people till like 3, maybe 2 or 3. MK is another program I'm trying to make y'all hip to. MK often. Well, I want to be hip, damn it. Everybody wants to be cool. Let's see, what is MK often? The government is not what you think. Mind control is real. I actually did a video about that, about Disney and the early influences with MK Ultra. David Wilcox explains the rules the cabal operate under. They have to tell us what they're going to do before they do it to avoid karmic retribution. Well, I'm going to educate myself on MK often and how it differs from MK Ultra. I talk shit on those inverted people. I talk shit too. It's all right. I ran an excerpt from a session between Tim Ballard and Tom Harrison and asked about MK Ultra, and it said yes. Did you do a video on it? Is it up on your channel? Girl, can I just say this? I think the thing that would just make me gnash my teeth together is thinking about the 2 Melanies walking free. You almost just can't think about it. Yes, ma'am, my friend. That is why we are friends, because we have the same brain. Yep. It took about 7 times of me asking ChatGPT to fill in an online form, and it finally admitted it was not able to do that, but it kept having me wait and wait. Yeah, some of the AI machines, it's all about how you ask the question, right? If I say, did Barry Morphew kill Suzanne Morphew? It won't give you an answer, right? But if you say, in your best guess, who do you think killed Suzanne Morphew, then it will name Barry. It makes me mad every time I think of those 2 getting away with that. They absolutely deserve prison. Absolutely. Melanie Pulowski sounded like she got initiated MK Ultra when she was 6 years old and stayed at Barry and Janice Cox's house. I mean, how much psychopathology can you have in one house? Right? And Krusha, why somebody could make a channel called Mormon Murders, and you would have never-ending content, because there's something about these large families, they just knock each other off. It's crazy. All this stuff about MK Ultra cabal, I know it's true on some level, but my mind and heart can't take it. I'm terrified for our kids and world that they inherited. So I think you bring up a really good point, Illuminating Inc. I think that it is very, very healthy to keep your world small, to set some boundaries, and focus on the things that are within your control, right? That is the healthiest way to live life. Focus on what you can control and sort of disregard those things that are outside of your control. So a lot of people want to get really, really terrified and freaked out and horrified about the comet. It's really 17 spaceships that have come to invade us, right? Why are you even going to get upset? You can't control it. If it is intelligent, if it's being, guided by intelligent life, why don't you stop for a minute and consider when it entered the solar system, it made sure to put the sun in between it and us, the only intelligent creatures, living creatures in our solar system. My guess is if it is intelligent, they're more afraid of us than we are of them. So focus on making sure that you make a cake today that turns out nice and yummy, or go pick your peas for, Sunday dinner, but don't spend a lot of time being afraid of the great Martian invasion. Focus on what is within your control. That's the healthiest path forward that increases the level of satisfaction that you feel in your life. Your worries are valid, my friend. My experience has shown that if I educate myself on things I don't understand and scare me, then I own it by learning about it and have better understanding of it. Absolutely. I was cutting down my raspberries this morning. Now we'll make my relish. Yeah, Mystic Firefly, you are on the case, girl. Pictures. Send us pictures when you've got it all nice and canned and ready to go into your cellar. Great. Kresha, you are the GOAT on exposing evildoers' plots. You didn't pick this battle. I know. Yeah, really. Kresha is a warrior. Very powerful person. Oh my God, exactly. The Melanies. What the hell? The Melanies need to go down. My son is here. Bye, everyone. Kat keeps on persevering. Son, your mom is awesome. We love her. All right. You have a wonderful evening, Kat. I was wondering if I should make my first video on how I make my. Please do that, Mystic. That's amazing. I'll put it on my channel so people can find it. Yay. That'd be good. It's not going to lie. It can be scary. I guess I've had this mission to get to the bottom of Lori Vallow's crimes and found myself in all kinds of evil crap. I know their end game and now know how to navigate and adjust my sails. Talking about their end game and how they operate, right? People don't really, I think, fully appreciate the money that is behind or beneath the Mormon church. And you have only a few very, very powerful people at the top of the Mormon church, and they're living better than the Vatican Pope, right? The money that is the Mormons' fortune, it doesn't go to the people. It doesn't go to the parishioners. It goes to the people that are in the big, cathedral ceiling, a handful of them. You got to wonder, all these people, all these Mormons that die, why are they dying? Did they know something? Did they uncover something? Who's heard about the white salamander? Yeah, the Mormons, there's something there. There's something a little creepy about the whole thing. The Pope is an unfortunate soul. Exactly. Mormon murder goes on and on. Yeah, in the most amazing circumstances. Women's warrior Kresha, who is Kay's daughter, JJ's aunt, she does have a channel. It's called Difficult Research. Everybody, mods, would y'all put her link up, please? And I wanted to look at what you did with Tim Ballard. Let's see. I don't want to change that. Let's see. Let's see. Difficult research. So you've got, let's see. Yeah, I bet this is the one. Is it the video you did a month ago? I followed the money. Is that the one to watch? Thank you, butterflies. Yes, please hit the thumbs up and you can touch subscribe if you want to. Watch the animated movie, The God Makers. All right. Is it the one you did a month ago, Crush? I don't know if Crush is still here. Come on. Oh, good. Wonderful, Diana. Diana Storm has been subscribed to Difficult Research for a long time. Very nice. Yeah, speaking of PhDs, Crescent needs a PhD in Illuminati, MK Ultra, Mormon BS, right? Whew. AI is now out of the box. Pandora does not go back in the box. Nurture children's souls more than ever. God with nature, bring love where it can be touched, seen, and felt. Absolutely. Get those tablets out of the hands of your children. I can't say it any clearer. Do not let movies and video games babysit your children. Give your kids a damn pot and a wooden spoon from the kitchen and let them bang on it, but do not give them a tablet. Please, please don't do that. Yeah, the Scientology people, right? Very strange. I was looking to see if Crusha. Lori said to Charles that she had a mission to usher in the second coming of Christ. Good God. Invert this, and it's ushering in the New World Order, which they're trying so hard to do at the moment. Absolutely. Yep. John Bolton. Johnny boy. Oh, I got a new song. Y'all want to hear the new song? It's about John Bolton. That's why I said that. Let's see where I put it. All right, y'all want to hear the new song? If you want to hear the new song, put a 1. It's about John Bolton. He's been indicted, arrested. He's going down. And the story is bad. It's healing but not damaged, but it was my artery. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Zelda. Tried to get hypnotized, quit smoking, but couldn't. I argued with the hypnotist saying I wasn't hypnotized. My daughter babysat for one of the families. They just disappeared. Sketty Nona, you got to tell us that story. Wow. Yeah. So my little granddaughter, she does not eat any prepared food like processed food. She doesn't eat baby food out of a jar, none of that. All of her food is made, my daughter, my son-in-law, cooking healthy food. That's what she eats. No kind of television or apps or anything, nothing like that. And when I watch her, I see the same thing that I was when I was little. There's curiosity, there's exploration. She makes up little games with just common household items. The creativity is there, right? And we're not seeing that with kids like in daycare and stuff, that that use a lot of tablet time. They just don't have this. They cry more. They lack invention. Yeah. Get them off all those preservatives. Give them a pot and a wooden spoon and a chicken, and they'll be as healthy as they can be. Same thing's going on with all mainstream religions. The deception is real. We've got to sharpen our discernment and help others do the same. My entry point happened to be Mormonism. Yeah, obviously, given your family's terrible trauma. Yeah. Do you have any opinions on the role of the food being so unhealthy, poison? Some people would even say poisoned. Even Europe has preservatives and hormones that they have outlawed in their food system that we, as the United States, is just pouring into their food ad nauseum. And I always think to myself, there's a reason they're putting all that crap in there. Jerry Falwell, the 1985 Family Manifesto. Damn. Wow. Yes, perf. Absolutely. It's scary, right? I babysat my grandkids 2 and 4, and my daughter-in-law put TV on for kids. She worked upstairs, and I would turn it off and color and play with them. I mean, do what you can do, right? Don't ruin the damn pickles. I just bought a whole dill pickle, and I'm waiting for the moment to just bite into it. There you go. No, the pickles are amazing. I love homemade pickles. My husband cans fruits and vegetables, and I love sweet pickles made from fresh cucumbers. Stuffing angel worship down even further sounds like a typical cult maneuver. I used to have my kids watch movies outside. You know what? I actually love to do that, to like put up a big screen, like projector, and shine it up on the wall of the house, to watch like kids' night or something. That's lots of fun. It's like having a campfire outside, right? It's just special. Yeah, garlic pickles are yummy. Oh my God, congratulations. Well, I hope you're happy about closing on your house, Harley. I know that can be kind of bittersweet sometimes. And I know in the market right now, things are not very good. So I'm glad that you did close on your house. And I know it's probably a little, sad, but I hope that, your dream for moving forward into the future, I hope that you're excited about that. I can't wait to eat good food again. So you're moving out into the country? Wow, I'd love to live in Italy. I think my favorite place, what's my favorite place? Definitely, I love Austria, Salzburg, right? But Italy, the countryside, that's the place to be. It's so beautiful. So Perth is in, did you say Austria or Switzerland? Perth is in Europe, and she said that their food, on the labeling, it says where it was grown and where it was packaged. Yeah, we could do better, man. I think they're making us sick with all their stuff. Australia. I've never been to Australia. I would love it. I've lived a lot of places overseas. I've traveled a lot, never been to Australia, but boy, I would love it. If I could just take a month and just go to Australia, it'd be great. My favorite movie is Nicole Kidman in Australia. Angel of Light has duped many people since the beginning of time. It's a stretch to connect LDS's Nephilim or Nephi character to the Nephilim. Yeah, not a stretch after what you guys lived through. How else do you explain what Goober Gord, Chad Daybell was able to teach people? He's a gooberhead. He lacks total credibility, doesn't he? There's nothing about him that would make normal people say, oh yeah, here's a smart guy, a rational, logical guy. I think I can believe him. There's nothing about him like that. He just comes across as really weak and incompetent, right? But he's able to manipulate this group of people into believing that he's a prophet. Something really off. And we love you too, Krista. Yeah, I'm looking forward. So what time do we want to do tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon or whatever you're thinking? You tell me. I think I'm finished at 3 o'clock with work. So whatever time after 3 Texas time, Central. It's okay. You know what, Harley? As long as people have integrity and when they learn what is authentic and true, they make their decisions based on truth, then you do that, you know. So Nana is a sweetheart. I'm talking about Nana Butterfly. Dragonfly. You can only do what you know. If you don't know something, you're not going to make the right decision. And now we know. That's all. That's all. Right now, it's 123 butterflies. Ooh, Macy's. Yum. Love Macy's. I just went and bought so much makeup, and I thought to myself, I'm not even going to keep my old makeup. I usually keep it because I just always think money, right? Oh, I don't want to lose any money. I bought so much new makeup. It's so great and nice and fresh, and I'm going to throw out all the old makeup tonight. So go to Macy's, buy new makeup. And if you don't know, the Chanel foundation, it's very good. It's expensive, but it's very good. Okay. Allegedly innocent, 7:30 Central, if you can. Can you email me? I can email you. Crusha0123 at Gmail. Yeah, I'll email you. Okay. Yeah, 7:30 is good. Are you on Louisiana time? Okay, so yeah, I block their name. Whoever they are, Mystic Firefly, block their name, and then you won't be, triggered if you see it. You won't be able to even see it. I know, Cinnamon. That's part of the reason why Bill does the big garden. We buy a cow being raised on a private farm, no hormones or anything. We try really hard to limit you know, what we're putting into our body. I have an addiction. You see, all of us have addictions. You just got to stand up, be firm, and put limits. I only drink 1 Coke a day, Brittany. You got to control your addictions, girl. Oh, I'm sorry, Mystic. I'm so sorry. Drawers and drawers of makeup, eyeshadow. I love eyeshadow. Maybe we should do an older woman makeup tutorial. Oh yeah, I would love to. I've already said the texture of the Too Faced eyeshadow is great. But I also like the Naked palettes too. But Too Faced, their eyeshadow is great. It's real buttery, soft. I am too difficult. Let's see, research. It'll be interesting and fun. It will be. It's going to be great. I'm really, really looking forward to it, Kresha. It'll be a lot of fun. Yay. Yay. Okay. But then I'm going to want you to come on my channel. Maybe we could talk about maybe talk about maybe do an overview of the Tim Ballard thing that you were talking about. I think that would be something that I would really be interested in. I really like stuff about messaging, right? Intentionally manipulating people through messaging. So, and we know that was a lot of the way that Chad and Lori worked. Was there even their stupid light and dark was really based in a lot of Hollywood type of, you know, imagery. So, yay! Tomorrow night, 7:30. Be there, be square. And mods have been putting Crush's channel link. So please make sure that you go over, you subscribe to her, so that tomorrow night when we go live, y'all will be there. Then I won't be nervous when I see my people there. Sketty Nono will be there. And I'm sure Zelda will too. Don't throw away your makeup. Donate it to charity. A lot of people will take it or want it. Louisiana Saturday night. I miss Louisiana. All day, every day, and twice on Sunday. There you go. Yeah, I miss Louisiana. A little sack lunch, a bag of Valium. Yeah, that's about part of the MK Ultra things. Try and get you on a bus to get you to the desert. There you go. Yeah, I'm on a live. It's fine. You can do it, Mystic. I would never thought about that. Sorry, that's Bill getting eyes. That's a lot of eyes. Let's see. Boiled shrimp. We eat boiled shrimp all the time. And etouffee. I like etouffee. I like catfish Shirley too, where you take your etouffee and pour it over your catfish. Some good eating. I like hush puppies. Got off pop during COVID. Now I use SofaStream and fresh fruit. Yum. That sounds delicious, butterflies. Gave up Coke a year ago, September 13th, when my husband had to have heart surgery. Did the Coke did it damage his heart? I'm in trouble if that's true, Texas Lassie. I hope to see you tomorrow night, Illuminating Inc. We will educate ourselves on a very real thing that affects us daily. I'm psyched. I think that's going to be great. We're going to have a good time. I love Too-Faced too. That's the so I like all of their palettes. I do have some foundation, but I find it gets dry now that I'm older. But I still, the coverage and stuff is great. The color's really great. But I think my new foundation that's better with my skin getting so dry, the Chanel foundation has been good. That's Tom Harrison. Very cool. Okay, I'm gonna look that up. Okay, going to go buy a bunch of Too Faced eye palettes. I don't know what, are you a cool or are you a warm? If you're a cool, you need the raspberry palette. It's great. Tomorrow night, 7:30. Going to be over at Crush's house. Bring your own beer. Tim and how Tom were doing the ketamine sessions with Tim telling him to be future president. What the hell? Is that the live from a month ago? Is that the one? I want to see it so I can watch it before tomorrow. It says, I followed the money. Tim Ballard's dark secrets exposed. Is that it? My chat got verified that a transcript excerpt of the session was MK Ultra mind programming. I could absolutely believe that the ketamine is an integral part, if that's what they're up to, that it could be useful. And there's an old clip of Bill Clinton, and he looks zoned out. They're putting makeup on him for a TV appearance, but he is not there, man. He is not connected. That looks like ketamine too. You want a mess of grits with some gravy. Harley's going to head out for the day, going to do her some shopping. I hope you find something fabulous, Harley. Breathe in, breathe out, enjoy your life. Keep your boundaries small and controllable. Don't worry about things you don't have control over. I get excited and ramble like clockwork, run out of space to finish. I'll tell you about it tomorrow. I would love that. Thank you so much, Krisha. Yeah, he boiled shrimp for me day before yesterday. Ooh, it was so good. So good. He's a bodybuilder, eats clean, works out 6 days a week, found out all the chemicals we eat cause more heart damage than what our country has told us. It's terrifying, Texas Lassie. I don't want to drink water out of the tap because of all the heavy metals that are in it. And I don't get nervous and scared about little things, right? I'm not someone who gets obsessed, but I know this, when they test your water and it's full of mercury, you should not be drinking it. We know that from animal studies. Oh, Hurricane Holly. Thank you. Even though I'm old and wrinkly, Hurricane Holly, I appreciate your very sweet thing you said. Thank you. I am a winter. Did any of you get your seasons done? Am I a cool summer? Is that right? And it's getting hard to find makeup for my very, very light skin tone. Yeah, I'm a cool summer. Mm-hmm. My season is hot mess, baby. It's all right. It's fun. It's fun to be a hot mess. Oh, you have a water filter? Good. Good, good, good. Well, it's 500 feet deep. The water's delicious and cold. No rust or hard water. Perfect. Perfect, Zelda. I'm from Texas. I grew up never leaving home, not even to go to 7-Eleven without makeup on. Same illuminating. Yep. You got to put your face on. Got to look good. You never know who you're going to run into. Moved to California for grad school and gradually stopped. Now I can't get back to it. Yeah. I feel naked if I don't have my makeup on. I'm a cool, an extra dry, wrinkly one. Blonde PT. Cool summers. Unite. Yeah. We got to stand together, girl. Ignore those wrinkles. Rage against the dying of the light. Oh, maybe someday. Think we are the same age. Illuminating ink. Yeah. And Drunk Elephant, by the way, Blonde PT, the Drunk Elephant products, like moisturizer and such, great products. I'll put a link in my post. And then if you want to just click it, it'll go to Amazon and you'll see it. It's a great product. Yeah. I love the Drunk Elephants. Let's see. I missed my Oregon well. I called that water diamonds because it came out like diamonds, but I still have like 13,000 wrapped up in filters. Now I have toxic water. Ugh. Yeah. They have mismanaged our lives for sure. Last month I bought foundation and concealer for my skin. Since I'm in my 50s now, I like NARS. NARS is actually a really, really great concealer. Absolutely. Never worn makeup in my life, and I'm now in my 60s, and your skin is probably beautiful, right? Because I always say that I've starved my face of oxygen. So, yeah, I put my makeup on. So, all right. I hope that you guys will be there tomorrow night at Crushes. Thought the Lord was directing to me to move, but now I realize it was just the devil freaking with me. Look, one thing I learned a long time ago, Cinnamon, there's no mistakes, right? You just do what you do, and if it's the wrong choice, then you get back on the right track. It's easy. Armani Foundation, there's a nice name. I don't think I've ever used their foundation, but they're a great company. Iowa water is toxic from everything they put on the corn. I believe that. Totally believe that as a problem. Yep. It's one of the reasons why Bill does the garden. Just because like I ordered some apples the other day. And I thought, they look so strange. Like, why do they look like that? And he came in with his knife and he said, because you just ordered plastic. And I said, plastic? What are you talking about? And he took his knife and he just kind of pulled it, the side of the knife. He just pulled it along the apple skin. And what came off looked like wax or something, right? And he said it's something that's called a peel, and it's supposed to keep them from, stop them from going bad. No, I don't want to eat plastic. You know damn well if you put that in your digestive system, it is staying forever. Your body cannot break it down. Weirded me out. I don't want any part of that. Yeah, me too, Mystic. When he showed me that, I was like, oh, I'm not going to be eating. But then don't they tell you eat the peel because it has all the vitamins and all the good stuff? No, it's plastic. And I'm not going to eat it. It did scare me when I saw it. I'm stoked to learn more from your insights about mind control programming. We need more talks about this topic. See you guys tomorrow at 7:30. I can't wait. It's going going to be fun. See you then. It's kind of funny that Kresha came in talking about that because, you know, MK Ultra came from a place, an idea, right? What idea did it come from? People like me. And when I say people like me, I mean people that understand learning and knowledge and how the brain works. And so there's an incredible bank of information out there on how to take the way that someone believes and turn it into a different way, the thing that they believe. We know how to do it. Just like the Nazis that I was talking about earlier, they did it. The name of her channel is a Difficult Research. Charles Vallow was her uncle. JJ is her cousin, or her cousin. Is that right? No, her nephew. I'm sorry, her nephew. So she started her channel Difficult Research as a therapeutic step toward trying to make sense of what happened to her family, how Lori was able to change so much, become so violent, do the horrible things that she did. And it really has led to what is, I think, such an important process of seeing the connections between these very powerful organizations and institutions in our country or around the world, and how they are manipulating little people for really bad things. You know, people, there's a couple of different groups with the MK Ultra. One group will say, nothing. It's never been a thing. It's all hogwash. It's not real. There's that group. There's another group that says, oh yeah, you know, the MK Ultra stuff, that was a really, really bad time during history, and thank God we don't do it anymore. And then there's the other group, like me. And I'm saying, if you think we're not doing it anymore, you are not paying attention, right? It is everywhere. And I even did a video years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, where Walt Disney was really the first person that was successfully recruited by the CIA to put out the propaganda films. And they are MK Ultra. If you look at the early cartoons, they're always beating someone over the head or pushing someone off a cliff or blowing them up in, you know, dynamite. They're kind of fearsome and frightening, right? So yeah, so tomorrow should be a really fun time with Kresha. After many trials and errors, I recommend trying Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, Dior Skin Correct Concealer. I love Bobbi Brown too. Love Bobbi Brown. And Smashbox Primer. Very good. I will give those a try. Tim Ballard is Sound of Freedom, and it was propaganda. Kirkbride asylums. Why in the 1800s were there so many asylums needed? I think, you know, I could get in trouble saying this, but I don't think institutions were altogether bad. I think there's still a need for them. I think that if you have institutions, you cut down on the number of homeless population. I think many of the people that are now just drug overwhelmed by their drug use, living on the streets, mental illness, I think if we could give them dignity, we give them a place to live, proper medical treatment, even train them for skills to do jobs and such, I think their lives would dramatically improve and the streets would be easier managed by the cops and such. it was a bad thing to close the institutions, but I'm not saying that we need that many institutions. I just think it was an overcorrection. And, you know, when you see the effects of unchecked mental illness for people that are homeless, these people are living worse than some dogs that are wandering the streets. And it really shouldn't be that way. We should really have some kindness to, you know, try to give some dignity back to some of these people. Not all know what the psychos are up to. They're usually being used as a scapegoat, leverage, or to basically be their pawns. That's a big business though, right? You got to have your minions to do your will or to convince people to believe a certain way. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Things have gotten really weird, you know? And I don't know how you turn the clock back. I don't know how you do that. I think the internet, I think they underestimated the role of knowledge, and the internet actually hurt them, you know, in what they're trying to accomplish. MK is all around us, between the island goers and the bunker people, everything on the shelf, all fashion, everything. Look at Balenciaga. Whew. Horrible stuff. Teaching little kids that they're just like humans. They are not just like humans. It is absolutely abusive to sexualize a toddler. It's abuse. There's nothing else. It's just abuse. Yeah, there's some sick people out there. Today, what happened 45 minutes prior? Sure. Yeah. All right, people. This has been a long live, 3 hours. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. Did you see that guy on Fox say he wanted to euthanize the homeless? Good God, they're people. They're human beings, and if they had their dignity and if they had their health, they wouldn't be living that way. People that are cognitively sufficient, they don't live like animals in their own feces. They don't do that. Okay, they're being drugged into submission. Horrible. This has been a Heart Song Live for us, Jod. Thank you for caring and sharing your wisdom. Thank you, Mystic Firefly. Appreciate that. That was a very kind statement. We're all just one paycheck away from homelessness. Can happen to any of us. True that. Yeah, they've turned it into zombies. Yeah, exactly. Just so sad. Yeah. All right, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go out listening to the John Bolton song. Again, I do the lyrics, I write the song, and then I put it into the AI machine to do the actual technical music, right? I have a little bit of control over the music, but I just tell it what I want the song to sound like, and it does it. So this is one that I did describing John Bolton, and I did jump ahead. Okay, it's not completely factual, all right, but he's good. See y'all later. Bye.
In the quiet of our home, under stars so bright and true, John Bolton was a hero, the one the world knew. Beloved by the crowds, trusted like the morning sun, you held America in your hands, and with your betrayal you set her undone. But John, oh John, what have you done? Betrayed the nation that beat as one. From glory's throne to shadows deep, you lost your way, and now she weeps. A noose awaits in the cold dawn's light for the man who betrayed us all left and right. corruption whispered soft, like poison in your veins. You turn from light to dark, like the honesty that you feign. But John, oh John, what have you done? Betrayed the nation that beat as one. From glory's throne to shadows deep, you lost your way and now she weeps. A noose awaits in the cold dawn's light for the man who betrayed us all left and right. Yeah. Careless words you spill, like secrets in the wind. Our brothers fell in fields afar because of John Bolton's sins. Lies wove through the night, helped thieves to claim her crown. Election stolen in plain sight that brought our nation down. The jury spoke your fate in a courtroom cold and still. Guilty echoes through the halls, you bent to treason's will. Ordered to the gallows high, rope around your neck so tight. She stands here betrayed, saying goodbye to the monster that Bush made. But John, oh John, what have you done? Betrayed the nation that beat as one. From glory's throne to shadows deep, you lost your way and now she weeps. A noose awaits in the cold dawn's light for the man who betrayed us all left and right. In memories, a nation as innocent as a lamb. Betrayal and sinister greed turned into the valley of the damned. But John,